Hi, I'm Joan. I'm going to share some practice tips. I have 10 simple practice tips that will help you. If you're a beginner, and even if you've been playing for a while, you may still look at a piece of music and feel overwhelmed. If you're looking at a piece of music and think, oh my, something that is very helpful is to take the piece and play one staff at a time. You can play the treble staff first and then go back and play the bass staff. Then go back and put both hands together. If it's still overwhelming, you can put both hands together one measure at a time. You play measure one, and after you've mastered measure one, then you go on and you add measure two. And then you go back, you can play measure one and measure two. After you've mastered measure two, you add measure three. So then you go back and you play measure one, measure two, measure three, and you just keep it going until you've got it. My piano teacher, when I was a child, used to only assign a section at a time. Also, another trick that I have used and still use is to start learning a song with a section from the beginning and a section from the ending. Then you keep adding measures until you meet in the middle. So that moves us on to our next topic, sight reading. Now, I've always been a great sight reader, but I've been teaching for a little bit of time now, and I've had students that were terrible sight readers. And then I had other students that were amazing sight readers. Now, I've had a few that were wonderful. The bottom line here is to know your lines and your spaces of both staffs. So E, G, B, D, F in the treble staff, F, A, C, E. And in the bass staff, you've got G, B, D, F, A, A, C, E, G. So if you've got that memorized, that will help you to be able to sight read. Also, something that will help you with this is when you get a new song, read through it first before you ever sit down to play it. Read through it. And then you play it through in your head. While you're reading through it, play through it in your head. And once you sit down to play it, you will be amazed at how much this will help you. You know, you'll actually be able to sit down and it will make sense to you. Now, playing your category, especially if you are a beginner, find pieces of music that match your skill set. You should have something that's more difficult that you're wishing to attain, you're practicing to get it, get there. Yes, you should have that, but you should also have something in your skill set that is easier for you to obtain. This is where a music tutor can help you select pieces to practice. The internet is full of appropriate pieces for your skill set, as well as websites. Also, lesson books will actually have lessons at your level and also will help you to go up to higher levels. Now, focus on your accuracy and not speed. When you look at a piece of music that you've been wanting to play, maybe you've heard it 1,000 times and it's Lang Lang playing, oh, I don't know, let's say Turkish March, and he just flies through it and it's beautiful. So you sit down and you've got Turkish March by Mozart and you're like, yeah, I'm going to play through it. Doesn't work that way. Play through it, yes, but play through it for accuracy. So go through the music and play it slowly for accuracy first. Once you've mastered the accuracy, then you can work on your speed and get it faster and get it to where you want. So this brings us to consistent practice. It doesn't matter what you're working on, practice makes perfect. So start with some warm-up exercises. Maybe you could do some preliminary exercises with your hands or some hand-in exercises. Maybe you could do some scale exercises, just depends on whatever level you're at, but do some exercises first and then practice through your music at least once a day. Set aside some time to practice, at least 15 minutes to focus on the fundamentals. This will help you retain what you're learning. And so that brings us to memorizing your music. Now, this is not an easy job, but it will definitely simplify your playing. Now, my teacher would take a piece of music and she would take it and cut it into parts. You learn this section and memorize it. Then you go on to this section and you memorize it. And then this section and memorize it. And that really seemed to help. She cut it into bite-sized pieces. You know, Rome was not built in a day, one step at a time. So make it doable. Another trick that I used was I would play my most difficult pieces right before I would go to bed. And I was about 13 years old, and I was working on the representation of chaos by Haydn, and it's out of the Creation. And there was one part of it I just could not get right. And so I would play it right before I go to bed. It was so aggravating to me because I couldn't get it right. And I dreamed that I was playing the piece perfectly. And I woke up and I was like, yes, that's how you play it. Yes, I got it. And so I ran to my piano and I sat down. Mind you, this is 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. My father was not amused that I got it right. He was not happy that I got it right. It was, turn that off, go to bed. So now let's move on to finger movement. It's best when you start to play a piece of music to start playing with your hands separately. And I know I touched on this earlier, but start with your right hand first. Play through the treble staff first with your right hand, then go back with your left hand and learn that. Then put them together measure by measure. Another thing you may want to do is master the right hand, master the left hand, then put them together. So if that works for you better, great. Rhythm is another thing. Now, this really applies to playing by ear and by music. Now, if you're playing with someone or maybe a band or so, and you don't know the chords that the song will go to, you can usually guess. Now, you have to keep the beat going, but let's say you're playing in the key of C, and you know there's a good chance it's going to go from C to F to G to A minor, maybe D minor or E minor, perhaps. Circle of fifths, right? Okay, but where's it going to go to in that particular song? Who knows? This has happened to me and happens to me all the time at church. You know, it'll be in worship service and they'll start playing some song I don't even know. I've never played before in my life. And so what you have to do is keep the beat going, but you know, you're in this key and it's probably going to go to this chord and it's probably going to go to this chord. And so you just got to kind of listen and kind of, okay, yeah, they hit the 7th chord there. Yeah, it's going to go here. And so jump there, but keep the beat going. That's the main thing. And then just figure it out as you go. Flexibility. Now, whenever you're starting to play the piano, I've had lots of students do this. They always tense up and they play really loud and obnoxiously, and it's like, oh my God. Okay, relax. Whenever you sit at the piano, it's best to just let your hand glide over the notes and play them softly. Don't hit the keys and don't be rigid in your movements. Relax, let your shoulders drop. Don't have your shoulders up here and tense and you hit and it sounds terrible. So just relax, be natural. Finally, ear training. Listening to other people play and learning where they go and improvise. One of my favorite people to listen to and learn from listening to is Anthony Berger. I love listening to him and trying to figure out what he's doing and try to do it myself. I'm sure you probably have people you like to listen to and would like to play like them. Listen to them and see if you can pick out what they're doing and where they're going, and then improvise on it. The more you practice, the easier it becomes. So this is all I have for today, and I hope it's helped you. If it's helped you, just click the like and subscribe button underneath this video, and I'll see you soon.